Okay, I think we're live. Just give me 2 seconds. I just want to make sure that everything's good. I kind of feel like I should just start assuming that everything's good, since it says that it's good, but like, I'm such an untrusting individual, and I'm like, do I have sound? Is everything cool? I don't know. Okay. Yes, we do! Hey guys, Courtney Mermaid here, and welcome back to another Tail Talk Tuesday, where we talk all things a mermaid. And I'm so excited. I don't know why I'm so excited. It's just the sun is coming in. I'm hanging with my fishes. I got Alfie in the background. I gave you a bone. How come? He's like, I don't want to eat the bone, Ma. I'm just doing what I do. Anywho, oh my gosh, it is a gorgeous day, you guys. That's why we're filming in the office, because the sun is just coming in, and it's bright, and it's glorious. And are you gagging? Seriously? What are you doing over there? Alfie? What is the matter? He's just so ridiculous, am I right? I'm just gonna get my chat up on the other screen so I can make sure to keep up with you fishes. Here we go. Hello, everybody. Mermaid Lolly in the house. Gamer Bay. Or Bear, excuse me. K all day. Cool puppy lover. Gamer Bear. Hello, everyone. Ninja of Cute. I'm not sure I'm going to pronounce your name, but Kim. Hello, hello. YouTube didn't notify me again. Oh no, that's terrible. I wonder, like, did you check to see if the little bell is turned on? Because sometimes it's not. Like, I discovered that the other day. I was like, I'm pretty sure I had this bell turned on for this specific channel. Why am I not getting notified? And I went and I checked and I didn't actually have the bell turned on, and I was like, oh, okay, well that's kind of what you want, right? Hello everybody, and welcome back to the stream. How am I? I am well. How are you? I'm so excited to watch this before I go on my beach trip. Awesome! Where are you going? Oh, take me to the beach. I want to go to the beach so bad. I just want to swim in the ocean with the little fishes. I'm gonna put my shake over here since it's not the most glamorous looking. My desk is such a mess. You guys have no idea. I have this very strategically placed, you guys, so that you only see this nice curated, like, put together scenario here, okay? It's terrible. Oh, is there lag? I hope there's not lag. I apologize if there's lag. I don't, like, this whole live streaming thing, it's just so complicated sometimes, you guys. Hi, guppies. How's everyone? We're good. How are you? Hey, Courtney, I hope you're doing well today. Did you have a So Mermaid weekend? I sure did. I sure did. I love mermaids. I love mermaids, too. I just got home from Florida. Nice. Oh, excellent. It was on since I subscribed. I kept checking for the notification, but none came up. I also put this one up really late today. There were reasons. So yesterday I was actually at the spa convention here in Vancouver with my mom. And so that pretty much took my day, and then I spent some time with my family, and it was really good. We went for a nice walk with the dog and got an ice cream, all that good stuff. And so that, of course, meant that I didn't get, like, my cleaning didn't get done, my start of the week stuff that I usually take care of didn't get done, and then so first thing in the morning, my shop, like, everything went wrong. So I have a sale going on right now at shopvancouvermermaid.com. Spring sale, you get 15% off all mermaid apparel. And, yeah, so stuff exploded, and it wasn't good. And I'm not sure what happened, but I had an issue. There were promo codes that weren't working, and then there was my pins, which my mermaid pin, of course I don't have one handy to show you guys. This is terrible. Just give me 1 second. My mermaid pin is back in my store, but of course, like, why when you put something and you schedule it, you would expect it to go up? But this is my mermaid pin that I designed. This project was helped funded by my grandma, so it's kind of got a little special place in my heart, so I'm pretty pumped about that. But yeah, these are, there's 30 of them left for sale, so I figured I should probably, like, list those ones and get the inventory out so I can come out with the new design. So if you guys are interested in checking those out, they are 15 Canadian dollars over on shopvancouvermermaid.com, and they're super cute, and she has two posts at the back, and yeah. So I'm going to come out with other designs as well. I haven't decided what. My vinyl stickers are also back up in the store. Somebody had seen them on the back of my laptop and made a comment. I was like, oh yeah, those are back up. So yes, all the things. But needless to say, when you work for yourself and you have a plan and the plan doesn't go to plan and you're like, oh, this is good. And I'm already late to meet my mom, and I'm like, okay, Mom, I'm having a crisis. Like, nothing in my store is working. Oh my God, please just, like, give me a sec. And she's like, oh, geez, Courtney, seriously. And my mom's, like, a business owner as well, right? Like, she's had her business for, like, 30, how old am I? Like, 30 some odd years, 34 years. I don't even know. She's been in business for a long, long time, okay? So she's just over there, like, you know? It's so funny. Okay, so I just got over from Florida. We talked about that one. I got to swim in, is it pronounced Ginny Springs? I'm not sure where that is, but that sounds awesome. Happy I made it on time. Yes. I got a mermaid tail because you inspired me to. Aw, gee whiz. That's so cute. I wish I could use the scroll mouse thing here because that would make my life so much easier, but oh well. That's okay. We're going to attempt this left-handed. How about that? What kind of mermaid tail did you get, Cameron? I want to know. Could you talk about extended mermaid tails? I don't really know a lot about extended mermaid tails, so I don't really know what I could give to that, like, discussion. Is there something specifically, like, about them you want me to talk about? How was my weekend? My weekend was good. It was a bit, I don't know, it was a bit busy, and last week was really a stupid week. So last week, like, nothing went to plan. Everything went haywire. I'm not even gonna get into it because it was just that depressing, but needless to say, I just didn't get anything done. I didn't get my schoolwork done. I didn't get, like, my mom and I had a 2-hour-long study session so that I could get caught up, and it was just a nightmare and all the things. So I'm hoping this week's going to be a little bit more productive. I'm thinking of actually vlogging this week to just kind of force myself to just get back on track whether I want to or not. I mean, I do want to get back on track, obviously. But I am just having a little bit of, like, motivational struggle because things have just been kind of piling up in different areas and not in a good way, so what are you gonna do? That's adorable. Oh, it jumped. I'm sorry, it jumps and then I lose my spot. When I get a job, I'm so going on a shopping spree in your store. Oh, thank you. I pronounced it right. Oh, okay. It's in High Springs, Florida. Oh, man. I see some of the other mermaids, like some other mermaids swimming out there, and I'm just like, oh, field trip. I want to go swim and do all the things. I'm okay. Oh, I'm okay getting a bit frustrated with my upcoming training because they haven't responded where exactly they're holding it, and I cannot book a hotel. Ooh. And the thing is next week, anxiety coming in. Oh, no. Is there anybody you can get a hold of to be like, yo, let's figure it out? Oh, man, I hate it when a plan's, like, super last minute, and they're like, oh, yeah, this, and you're like, you know? But people don't care. Yummy ice cream. What's my favorite ice cream flavor? Oh, gosh. It kind of depends on my mood. I'm very much a chocolate or vanilla kind of person, but I like tiger tail and pistachio. Please don't judge me. I can't help it. I really like pistachio. What are you gonna do? Plan's not going to plan is the only plan you can really rely on. It's so true, though. It's so true. Like, my dudes. Sometimes I wonder, but you know what? I still feel like super motivated to continue on, and I don't feel like, you know, the little things that are kind of that I'm coming up against aren't. They're not going to be the end. You know what I mean? Like 5 years from now, I'm really going to look back and be like, yeah, that time when everything in my shop exploded and like nothing. And I lost sales and nothing happened and money and this and that. Like, am I really going to care? No, it's going to be, okay, well, it was a learning experience that maybe scheduling things wasn't your best idea. Maybe you should have just set your alarm clock and woken up and done it yourself. You know, so these are the lessons you learn. These are the lessons you learned. And sometimes you learn them later than you'd like, but it's okay. Oops. Sorry, I lost my spot. Dreamt about Fantasia last night. Needless to say, I'm so hyped for this tale. was actually thinking of breaking down your measurements today because I kind of feel like I need to be in my mermaid workshop and I have some sewing to do, and I was like, well, I'm gonna have the table and everything set up. I should probably do her measurements while I'm here, since I've already started like a little pre-design for your tail, Mermaid Lolly, so I'm so excited. I'm good, I'm calm. Do you know what people use to make the extended monofin for an extended tail? I do not know. I am so sorry about that. I do not know. Oh, well, what's with all the faces? Why are we upset? Gamer Bear. What's going on? Why are you so upset? Okay, stop being so upset. We like happy things in the stream, please. Okay, yes, I asked it. I love you so much. I'm writing a mermaid comic about a boy. He can see things we can't. One day sees a girl they become friends, and she is a mermaid spirit. Oh, cool! That actually sounds like a cool idea. I like that. Team mint chocolate chip. Ooh, yes. I love pistachio ice cream. Yes. Vanilla chocolate and pistachio. Yes. Okay, you're like gonna get a little bit of a timeout. Sorry. It's just a little too much going on there. Have you ever used an internal nose plug? Do you know if they're any good? Like the Sinus Saver? I've tried them and I don't like them. That's just a personal preference for me. I didn't take the time to kind of get used to it either. Like, I know that I've got a few mermaid friends who use the Sinus Saver and they swear by it. I don't know if it's just because I kind of have a big nose and it kind of just makes my nose look just like that much bigger. And not that I have anything like a problem with my nose. I feel like it fits my head, like my face, pretty well. But the problem is I do like a thing. So when I dive down, I let out a little bit of air and I kind of just roll into whatever, I'm doing. But the problem is if you have so I also have allergies. So if I'm sniffing and like touching my face a lot, I'm like, my eyes are itchy. My nose is like the whole thing. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I find that I end up pushing it out of my nose, and because it's clear, then I can't find the dang thing. And it's like, great. I am actually working on a little series right now of videos that's going to talk about some of those things as well. Where did I have it? I have it on my excited to-do list. Yes, I actually call it the excited to-do list. Yes. And it's going to be a series of my like mermaid trade secrets, the things that I don't necessarily talk about like super obviously, but the things that I do that make my life like easier as a mermaid, or the things that I just have done always that I find work really well. And it's going to be a series, an 8-episode series, and I'm going to be covering a bunch of different things. So this is something that I'm going to start new on my channel. I am hoping to actually film some of it this week, maybe starting today. Who knows how motivated I'm going to be after this, but we will have to see. And there's going to be like so you've bought a mermaid tail, now what kind of a series? My Monofin collection that everybody keeps asking me about, that is coming. I am going to do it. I swear it's going to happen. And then I have a few other videos, but those are like not started yet, so I don't want to, like, I haven't scripted anything, so until I get a little further along, I don't want to, no teasers yet, Oh, it's jumping around all over the place. Why is it? Who's messaging me? Eric, I'm live streaming. Eric, hello? Eric, I'm live streaming. What are you doing? Why? Okay, it's jumped like a million miles down. So I apologize if I've missed somebody. This is just hashtag stream life. Like, I don't know. Here we go. She uses Photoshop and Sketchbook Pro, so I'm assuming somebody asked me what programs that I use. So on my iPad I use Sketchbook Pro, which I don't think is actually called Sketchbook Pro anymore. I think it's just called Sketchbook or Autodesk Sketchbook. I like Sketchbook Pro. I thought it sounded fancy, but I think maybe because it's free now with an Autodesk account that it's not a thing anymore. So I use that, and then I also use Procreate periodically. It kind of depends on what it is that I'm working on. I use Procreate for like, all of my Instagram feed is like curated via Procreate. So if I have to do like, if there's somebody in this shot and I don't have their permission to have them in there and I need to like get them out. So I'll use Procreate for that. And just like little adjustments here, like if there's like a hair and it's like right in the middle of my face and it's like the shot's then unusable, so I'll do that. And then on my computer for the actual tails and like the legging designs and stuff, I use Photoshop for that. So I love me my Photoshop. It's good. What inspired me to be a mermaid? Oops, there it is. What inspired me to be a mermaid? And the thing just jumped again. Well, I saw that one, so here we go. What inspired me to be a mermaid? My mom, I think. Probably because I actually hated water. I was not a mer baby. Like, when I was a kid, you couldn't get me to put my head in the water for anything. I mean, nothing. I wouldn't know. This just wouldn't happen. I was that kid at the pool that would kick and scream and cry. I wouldn't do it. And my mom, like, never really gave me flack for that. Like, she was never really like, oh, you know, you stupid kid, figure it out. Like, she was very patient. She would make sure, like, when I was little and, you know, I didn't want to get water in my face and she's washing, you know, my hair and stuff. It's just like a little kid, right? She was always really nice about it, and I eventually just kind of got over it. And I think it was around when I got into synchronized swimming, and then I just kind of was like, okay, well, here we are, we're doing the thing. we're just gonna do it. But yeah, I'd say my mom probably. She used to take me to the pool all the time to swim, and so did my grandma. My grandma took me swimming a lot at lakes and some of the outdoor pools in Vancouver in the summertime. And I think my next biggest inspiration, like, The Little Mermaid obviously was a huge, that was more so for my animation, like, design career actually came from that. And then the mermaids from Hook were actually a huge, huge motivation, inspiration. I really wanted one of their tails. I loved them. I loved the design. I loved the style. I loved the sparkle. I loved that they were each their own color. So they were, like, a little bit unique and different. And I don't know. And then, of course, Splash was also, like, let's face it, I think Splash is like every mermaid's inspiration. Okay, speaking of which, Splash, just like total side note for a sec. Okay, so I'm just like, I'm on Twitter, you know, as I do. I'm always on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, link in the description box below. I'm on Twitter, and Mermaid Comics posts a thing. And I'm telling you, I was peeing my I was peeing my pants. If you have time, I think it's, I don't even know how many tweets it was now. It was a lot. But he was watching Splash and, like, commentating on Twitter. And it was the best day of my life. I tell you, I'm reading this, I'm like, yes. And because they're all things that you think, but, like, nobody says out loud, because, like, Splash is the holy grail of, you know, really, like, mermaids. Like, every mermaid knows Splash. Every mermaid wants that long hair. Every mermaid wants that realistic Splash-looking tail. Like, even I have one, like, for crying out loud. So funny. But, oh gosh. So yeah, Mermaid Comics. I think you're just Mermaid Comics on Twitter, aren't you? You're just, let's just look really quick, because oh, no, you're not Mermaid Comics. Are you? Okay, I will have to link you down below. I'm not sure where you had posted it, but it was just too funny. I appreciated that. I was like, yes, this is so good. How old were you when you first got a mermaid tail? I first got a mermaid tail, oh gosh, I first made, what was the, okay, 2006, I think? Is that when this all started? I think 2006. And it wasn't, you couldn't really call it like a full-on mermaid tail. It was kind of like a big sleeve, and it didn't have like a fluke. It was just like this big sleeve that one big legging basically with two flippers at the bottom. Because there wasn't anything, like when I first started mermaiding, like there was like me and just a handful of other people. It was like, you know, there wasn't, you know, a place to go and buy a mermaid tail. That's kind of why I started making them. I was like, yeah, well, here we go. I'm making myself. On Sketchbook, do you use a stylus? If so, what stylus do you use? So I actually have an iPad Pro, which is plugged in. Let me just, oops, sorry, Alfie. Oh, Bobby, he's like, what touched my butt? Oh no. Oh, look, he's so upset. Oh, I feel really bad. Oh no. Oh, look at him. He's like, guys, what is that? Guys, what's on my butt? Oh, it's okay. Look, I'll get it out for you. How come you don't watch Bonbon? I got that just for you. Oh, don't be upset. I'm sorry. I didn't think it was going to get your butt. Don't be upset. Don't be upset. He's like, but something touched my butt. I'm sniffing my butt. Oh, come on, Alfie. It's not so bad. Let me just take a nose break here. I love allergy season, you guys. It's the worst. The worst of the worst of the worst. Ugh. Sorry to those of you who like flowers. I'm not a flower person. I can't believe how upset he is. He's just like, Ma, something touched my butt. But yeah, so stylus. I have an iPad Pro, and so of course I have the iPad, or like the Apple Pencil, the iPad Pencil. The Apple Pencil, and that's what this guy looks like. I have the generation that doesn't charge by touching my iPad, so I have the generation that you like plug in. So I don't know if the new pencils are still the same. I had a problem with my last pencil, and something with the nib, and it wasn't recognizing, and it wouldn't connect, and the whole thing. So I have a new one now, which is very good. So thank you, Apple, for replacing that. But yeah, this is my iPad, and I have just a keyboard because I also do like scripting and stuff on my iPad. So this is kind of like my buddy, basically, my assistant, if you will, that reminds me to do things that I use for all my photo editing, and all of that good stuff. I use my iPad for. Well, oh yeah, the 13th year was good too. That was really good. The Weird Mermaid Who Hasn't Seen Splash. Oh, geez, you should see it. I wish I could watch it for the first time. Yeah, I've seen Splash so many times. Okay, when I was a kid, this is what I did. This is before, like, okay, I'm showing my age here, so here you go. I had one of those old school, like, CD and cassette players. I really don't feel like I need to explain what a cassette is. I hope not. And it had a record feature where you could, like, okay, so yeah, you could record sounds that were in the room with you. And what I did was I took, and this thing was enormous. This is like, listening to music on something this size was not a thing, okay? And I picked the whole thing up and I stuck it right next to the speaker of my teeny little TV. I had a TV like this big. The screen on it was like that. And I stuck it right next to it. It was the most precarious, awkward thing. And I recorded all of the music, which of course has like shoes shuffling or like water noises and stuff. And I recorded that so that I could listen to it because there isn't a Splash, I can't find a Splash soundtrack. At least they don't have one in Canada on iTunes. But back in the day, there was no iTunes. It wasn't a thing. But yeah, that's what I did. I did it for the 13th year too. The music from the 13th year is so beautiful. I love it so much. I wish that they would release like soundtracks for these things. I'd buy them! Like I would right now. Like, let's go. Yeah, it's so good. How would you start mermaiding? I am going to have a video series on that. I'm pretty excited. I have a few videos talking a bit about it. It kind of depends on where you're at with your skill set, with your swimming abilities and this kind of thing, like what your goals are. Are you thinking of doing this as like a hobby? Are you thinking of doing this as like a career? Are you like, where are you at that way? Are you thinking like a more artistic side or the more like physical swimming side? You know, everybody has kind of their different sort of goals that they want, and I don't think a lot of people really think about it. I don't think that people think about, yeah. It's gonna be one of those Tuesdays where I say some weird things that don't really make sense. Hopefully, we get the point. But it kind of depends. I'm not wearing any of my rings. Oh no! Had time to blow dry my hair. Didn't have time to put on any of my stuff. Oh, I put in my earrings. There you go. At least I've got earrings today. But it kind of depends on where you want to start. Oh, there's a little birdie outside. Oh my god, they're so small. This bird is like, I'm not kidding you, like this big. This is the smallest bird I've ever seen. Why are you so tiny? Oh, you're so cute. Oh no, you know what? He's looking in here. There was a little bird, that might have been him, that used to come by to whistle at my bird, and then Tink would whistle back, and of course she's not here anymore, so this little bird keeps coming by and whistling at the window. But she's not here, bird, I'm sorry. Get back to the point. Where would you start? So you would start by assessing your swimming skill level. Then you would say, okay, I either need to take a swim class, or I'm a competent swimmer, and I'd like to get a Monofin, because that's usually where people go. Like, I don't think there's a lot of tail makers or anybody out there who's really still using flippers in their tails. I did for my first, I think, 2, 3, or 4 tails. No, hang on. The first 3 span. Anyways, the first number of tails had flippers. But flippers are fine if you want to just dabble and see how you feel about like the dolphin kick and this kind of thing, and you can get them most like sporting goods. Even the dollar store is going to have like a Linen Drugs or like your local sporting goods store. But yeah, squirrel! That's pretty much me. I'm just like, you know. Anyways, you're going to get there. Then at that point, you've decided like, okay, cool, mermaiding. It's good, or you hate it and you don't want to do it again, but that way you haven't made a huge investment in it, because monofins themselves can be quite expensive. I do have a discount code for anybody interested for a Finis. Well, basically anything at Finis, actually. You can use my discount code at finisswim.com, and I do believe I have this all linked down below. Mermaid Courtney will get you 20% off your Monofin purchase over at finisswim.com. So that's a super, super handy little doodad. I should make like a little card that I can click on to like pop up or something. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that like totally up the level of my, you know, my live stream ability here? Then you can start thinking about things like a mermaid tail, where you want to get one. You can get a starter mermaid tail, or you know, if your swimming level is a little bit higher, you'd like to dive right into something else, you can do that too. I will do like a full series on this at the, like starting at the point where you got your first mermaid tail. And I'm going to say you probably start off with like a fin fun kind of a mermaid tail. You don't want to go something super expensive just in case you don't like it. But I do beg of you to not get, if you can avoid it, please don't get knockoff tails. For safety reasons and because it's a really lousy thing that these companies overseas have been doing, and where they've been just like taking photos of other people's tails and just printing them on. They look terrible to start, and they're not safe to swim in. The vast majority of them. And it's really lame to do that to an artist. I know not everybody agrees with me, but it's a really uncool thing to support. As somebody who makes a living doing this, it's kind of cool. Hey, is Eric in the chat? Oh my gosh, guys. My man is hanging out in the chat. Hey babe, how you doing? How do I protect my hair when I swim? So, yeah, I'm thinking of doing like a hair care kind of a thing, because I feel like I'm getting more on like a track now. I feel like my hair is starting to feel like a bit better and healthier, despite the fact that I swim so much. Things that people have done, like if you soak your hair in just like water first, it'll saturate the hair. It might not absorb as much chlorine once you get in the water. A lot of mermaids like to just get straight into their tail because it's like when you're dry, because it can be harder to put your tail on when you're already wet. Especially if you're a fabric tail user, it can be frustrating. So some people will also take coconut oil and use it just on the edges, like the ends of their hair, just so that the water can't get absorbed into the hair. I have a couple of hair treatments that I've been using and trying out some other stuff that people have been recommending to me online, because I had actually made a post on Instagram that kind of exploded, which was pretty funny. And people were like, oh yeah, this is what I do, and I do this and this and the next thing. And I'm like, yeah, this is cool. So could be a good update video. I did a hair care video where I was using, I do coconut oil treatments on my hair and apple cider vinegar treatments on my hair, which are super, super helpful and I really, really like. So that's pretty good too. What did I get to here? Boop, 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 boop. I know I always say it, but I cannot recommend FinFun highly enough. Really good quality for the money and designed for safety. Yes, they're amazing and worth every penny for starting. I absolutely, absolutely agree. I love these guys. Honest to Zeus, like, even though I'm a tail maker and people are like, oh, well, wouldn't you just recommend your own stuff? I'm not that kind of tail maker. I'm like, I'm more of like it's the artsy boutique kind of side of things, okay? So, but FinFun goes to these unbelievable lengths for safety and the informational booklets that they, like, when I got just the Monofin, forget the mermaid tail altogether, I got, they had sent me the amp to review, and I did a review video on it, and it's going to be in the reviews playlist, I believe, and it comes and it opens, it's a whole experience. Like, their brand, really good. Their branding is super awesome. When you open it, it's got, like, it folds out, and it comes with all this instructional stuff and safety information, and I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. So good. I freaking love them and their little infographics and all of their things that they do, the stuff that they post online. Just really solid company. The only reason I wouldn't say for like, if you want to do like professional mermaiding or things like that, I just don't know how well they would hold up in front of a bunch of kids if it's a little see-through, or how the Monofin sticks out just a little bit at the back is a little bit more obvious than other options that are out there. But like, again, it kind of depends on what you want to do. As like a hobbyist mermaid or somebody who's doing this just for your own happiness, I think they're fantastic. Can I get an Abyss mermaid tail and review it? I don't really do reviews of other companies' mermaid tails because I am also a tail maker, and I think it's a little hypocritical to be a tail maker and like super review. Like, I can give my thoughts maybe on, like, you know, I just wouldn't get one myself. If the company sent me one and was like, hey, we'd like your honest to Zeus opinion on this, I'd be like, sure, cool. You know, I can give, like, my thoughts, but, like, to be like, it's kind of tough because then people will be like, oh, well, are you just saying that because you want it to be not as good as yours? Because I don't think that's the thing. Like, when I did the video talking about my thoughts on the new Mertailor tails, it was more just from, like, I honestly just spent the whole time fangirling over them, to be totally honest with you. But it's kind of like, it's apples and oranges, right? We all have our different goals as tail makers. Like, some companies are doing this for the profit margin because mermaiding is so popular right now, and if you read a lot of the behind the scenes, like, I'm subscribed to a lot of, like, Google things where they give you, like, documents, you know, showing the growth and whatnot of, like, Monofin sales and Mermaid Tail sales and, like, all this stuff. So some people are in it more for that. Some people are in it more for an experience. Some people are in it more for, like, I'm trying to create, like, you know, my So Mermaid kind of vibe, as it were, how to help people kind of live their most authentic, you know, mermaid lifestyle, whatever that means to them. And I'm looking forward to exploring that just a little bit more over the coming months and over the summer and stuff, kind of really delving into it. So it's going to be good. But as far as doing reviews for other companies, if a company ever reached out to me and was like, hey, can we send you this and you'd like to review it, I would of course give my honest opinion, regardless of how I feel about my mermaid tails. That's a separate entity altogether. So in here, you cannot go into the pool without washing your hair and washing your body and hair first. The swim guards can ban you from going if you don't at least rinse your hair for sure and wear a swim cap. I always shower before I actually go to the pool. I always shower before I go to the pool because it's, I don't know, it's just like, I just do that. I just kind of feel like I don't like to think about, like, dirty people at the pool. So I'm always clean when I go to the pool, but sometimes getting into a mermaid tail can be hard if you have to rinse yet again. And I kind of feel like when you're rinsing off, what are you rinsing off? I feel like you need to be mandatory to be clean when you come to the pool. I don't know, it's just a thing. I wanted a tail, but I didn't want to spend a lot, so I got one that looked like a fin fun, but it wasn't from them. And when it came, the quality was terrible. I would definitely not feel safe in it, for sure. That's a really hard thing. It's like, you know, how could you say it? I kind of feel along the lines that there needs to be, as this has become a very popular, you know, hobby, a very popular sport. It's grown so much in the however many years I've been doing this. I've lost count. What year is it? Have I been doing this 13 years? I'm not even sure anymore. I kind of feel like maybe regulations need to be put in place. I feel like there needs to be a standard, I don't know, like some kind of a standard to say that, like, okay, this is going to be safe. This Monofin is certified, you know, under this whatever. Like, I'm not even sure how we could go about doing that, but I do feel that I'll see some of these Monofins come out of mermaid tails and they're cut horribly, or they have like a big crack down the middle that you couldn't see because it was in somebody's silicone tail and whatever. You know, or it's two Monofins that have been, like, legitimately stapled to a piece of plexiglass, and you're like, how did somebody actually sell this as a Monofin? Like, no. It's just terrible. I don't know. I feel like maybe the fabric is kind of one thing. You know, you don't want something that's going to fall apart and cause you issues, obviously, in the water. There's ocean, you know, the health of the ocean that you want to think about as well. What are the materials that you're using? Is stuff leaching into the ocean? Are we losing sequins in the ocean? Like, this kind of thing, depending. Are you a pool-only mermaid? Are you swimming in natural bodies of water? That kind of thing. But, yeah, there's just a lot of things to consider. I feel like a Monofin isn't something you want to skimp on. I feel like you want to get something that's quality, that's going to, last you a long time, because, man, are they expensive. Especially if you live in Canada. Guys, what is the deal? Like, I talked about this in last week's Tail Talk Tuesday live stream, but it's like, I pay almost what it costs to buy the Monofin in import fees when it comes in. It's ridiculous. No. Anyways. But your Monofin is like the engine of your car. I mean, you're the engine of the mermaid tail, obviously, but the Monofin is like, I don't know. what could you say here? It's like your tires, maybe tires of your car. It's like, I don't know. It's a really vital, important thing, you know? That's why I find something that I like and I just stick to it. But yeah. FinFun is starting to sell through retail. Yeah, I've actually seen them around. There's As Seen on TV store that actually sells them here by me. I haven't seen them recently, but they were selling their like cuddle tails. Is that what they're calling them? I can't remember, their cuddle tails. And they had a couple of kid sizes. I was like, oh man, if they had an adult size, I would get one just to see what it's all about, right? Like I've only ever seen Mermaid Tail, like the FinFun ones. I've never actually gotten to see one really up close. Just like if I go to meetups and people are swimming in them, but it's not like I'm like, hey, can I just see it? You know? No. Okay. FinFun is starting to sell through retail. Yeah, we got that one. I'm not surprised some would, but I'd still say they're not pro tails. In the end, though, being a pro is about skill and talent more than your given tail. I would agree with that. Yes, I agree that it matters that you are a mermaid in your heart and spirit. They aren't necessarily pro, but you can still be a professional mermaid with the FinFun. It's the mermaid that makes the mermaid. It is the mermaid that makes the mermaid. I think it's more about what the standard is for what people are expecting these days, because a lot of professional like party mermaids and mermaids who are doing events and stuff or in tanks or whatever, a lot of them, like the vast majority, I would say, are using silicone tails. So that's kind of becoming like the gold star of professional, you know, mermaid tails and that kind of thing. I will say, like, I have, like, personally witnessed people being called fake because your tail is made of rubber. So, like, little kids have said that to people in silicone tails. Like, I've witnessed it. And it's like, okay, well, you know, I don't know. I feel like if you have a good sense of who you are and a good sense of your persona and what your answer is to people when they say, like, are you fake? You know, is your tail fake? Like, okay, like, scope this. I did an event where I actually had my tail on display before I got in it and got in the water. So can you imagine now the number of kids who were like, wait a second, I just saw this on a table in the hall. Like, what? You're not a real mermaid? I have a whole backstory. I could share it with you guys one day. Like, it's a bit epic, and I get it's a bit, like, yeah, dramatized. It's a whole thing. But I have a whole backstory as to why I'm a mermaid, but I don't actually have a mermaid tail anymore. So there's a whole thing. And it's not like magic. There's not magic involved. It's just like an evolutionary thing. And I try to keep it as matter of fact as possible. So when kids ask me, it's like, no, this is this. Because in my heart, I feel more mermaid than I do like human per se. But obviously I have to make my own mermaid tail. So you have to take that into consideration. But, as far as, like, if you aren't somebody who's particularly comfortable or confident with yourself or your mermaid tail or just being in your own kind of skin, that shows. And kids are just the quickest to pick up on that. I don't know if it's just because when we're children, we're very instinctual. We aren't really, like, experience-based because we haven't got that, you know, wide range of experience behind us. We're very much like, you know, like, So if you don't, you know, if you're in your FinFun tail and somebody comes up to you and they're like, well, I can see your swim bottoms, you're not a real mermaid, how are you going to answer that? That's, I think, what Digimer is, like, kind of coming at. And I think what a lot of us are kind of saying when we're like, oh, maybe they're not the best professional grade. I don't think all of their tails have that same level of see-through. So I don't think that's really necessarily the issue here. But it's sort of how do you handle it? You know, are you able to be like when that little kid, that little boy on the playground who pushes everybody around comes up to you and starts pushing you around and being like, oh, da 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 da, and you're like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to just, like, rattle it off, like, yep, well, I was a mermaid, this happened, that happened, the next thing, or I am a mermaid, I make this tail myself, or blah blah blah. Like, you have to have, you know, your thinking. I had kids say they knew I wasn't a real mermaid in a Merbella. Some kids are just that age, yeah. I usually like to, when they get like that, what I'll usually say is like, okay, I'll go on the, like, the imagination side of things where it's okay to imagine and it's okay to pretend and it's okay to play and kind of let the kid know, like, they won't, like, sometimes they won't go for it, they won't bite, But I had a little girl once, I think I've talked about this before, but she came up to me and she asked, she's like, are you a real mermaid? And I was like, do you believe I'm a real mermaid? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's all that matters. It's okay to believe. Like, it's okay, you know, because you could see that, like, other kids were telling her that I wasn't a real mermaid in this and all that good stuff. But I kind of feel like, you know, we're as real as it gets, right? You can't really say you're not a real mermaid. You know what I mean? It's just kind of a weird thing to say. I don't know. Maybe when they one day discover that there are mermaids out there, then it'll be a weird thing to say. It'll be like, well, you're not technically a real mermaid because they exist out there in the ocean. You know, I don't know. Would you like to see my comic characters? I haven't had a chance for her mermaid form. I also like to call her Mumbles. Named Mumbles, that's cute for sure. You guys are always welcome to share stuff with me over Twitter or over Instagram, and I can always check it out on there. For kids old enough to say that, I assume they'd call me on magic as well, which is why I say to them, I say that thing about being a real mermaid. So far, it worked well. Right on. I'm not sure what it was that you said, because this thing just keeps going, so practice and hard work, so we're real mermaids like doctors are real! Yeah! Okay, yeah. I don't think there's ever going to be a tail that's 100% realistic. There's always going to be an element of fakeness, no matter your tail, for sure. I feel like the splash tail is pretty gorgeous. Like, not obviously, I've never seen it up close, but in the film, I just feel like it had such an element to it. It was so beautiful. I can relate with the import fees. I once found a cool necklace that resembles yours online for around $5 Singapore dollars. I was about to buy it, however, the import fee was $20. No! That's the worst! No! I think it was that video of yours that inspired how to handle the whole "are you a real mermaid" issue with kids. Yes. It's always an authentic yes with me. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you know what? It's just sort of like how you're willing to handle it, because if you really break it down, now we're going to get like hella deep here. If you really break it down, what is reality and what is fantasy? We live in an age where you could literally do whatever the heck it is you want to do. Okay? Like, I swim around in a mermaid tail for a living. If you said that to me as a kid when I was like, okay, no, you're going to be this, you're going to have a desk job, you're going to whatever. Like, we're in an age where people are doing outrageously amazing things. Like, there are professional cosplayers out there. You know what I mean? It's not like, how do you want to put it? It's like, if you can dream it, you can do it. Isn't that a quote? Who am I quoting here? I'm quoting somebody. But, not myself, obviously. But the thing is there is just a way to do whatever it is you want to do these days. And at the end of the day, who's to say that my living and, you know, pretending to be a mermaid every day of my life, who's to say that's any less valid than waking up and going to work at a bank every day? The fact of the matter is, you know, if you're not a bank enjoying person, I used to work for a bank, okay, so I have a frame of reference here. It was not my passion. I didn't really enjoy it. I was treated like garbage, and that's a whole other story. But that wasn't the reality that I wanted. You kind of have the power now to kind of make and shape your own reality of what you want that to be and what you want that to look like, regardless of whether you choose to live in, like, the fantasy aspect of it. Like, yeah, we're all going to have taxes to pay. We're all going to have bills to pay. We all have to have a roof over our head, you know, car expenses and all this stuff. But if you can add that element of magic into it, like, that's kind of what I'm trying to say when I say live life so mermaid. Like, so mermaid is kind of just my way of saying living your life to your most authentic, you know, version. Like, what's going to make you the happiest. Like, for me, being as mermaid as possible and getting buzzed 1,000 times during my live stream is really good. I kind of want to turn this off. Notifications. Stop notifying me of stuff, please. But yeah, you just have this unique ability that I don't think we've ever really had before in time or space, where you could just be whatever the heck it is you want to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, we can all have YouTube channels. We can all do these different things. Just, you know, there isn't really a limit. You just have to be willing to put the time into realizing your fantasy. Like, there's this girl that I follow. Oh my god, and I wish I could remember her name. She's super popular. You're probably, like, you've maybe seen her on, if you follow me, you probably will have seen her in, like, my suggested feed, because she is, I think she's a professional YouTuber. She might do something else on the side that she doesn't talk about, but she, what's it called? Live, RPGs. What's that called, guys? That's not something that I'm into, so I don't remember what it's called. But basically, you go to these events, and you literally live out like a role-playing game. You're your character, you have your costume, you have your equipment, your gear, your food, your utensils, whatever, and you live out this fantasy. And she does it all over the world, all these different places that she goes to, and she literally gets to live out these fantasies. And it's the coolest thing, okay? But she does that. You know what I mean? It's just, I just got off on like a wild tangent there, but it's so interesting to me. I'm going to take an ALFIE break because my nose is bugging me. I'm sorry. ALFIE cam! ALFIE cam! ALFIE! Chicken! He's like, no, I'm sleeping. I don't want to be interesting for the people watching. But yeah, we have this, this opportunity now to do things that we've never been able to before. And I feel like we need to just grab that and just, like, fly with it. You know what I mean? I don't know. So when somebody says to you, well, you're not a real mermaid, do we even, okay, we're like, you really want to know my real thoughts on this? So I can lucid dream, right? Like, we've talked about this previously. And I can have dreams that will feel like I've been asleep for weeks, where I'll have gone and I will have been in other, like, adventures of my own, and it'll be whatever it'll be. You know, I have, like, crazy zombie apocalypse dreams that are really fun, and, like, I'll make a video. I swear one day I will. Okay. But the thing is, who's to say that what we're in right now, is any more or less real than what happens when you're asleep? Like, I know that's crazy, okay? I know that's totally crazy, but it's just how I feel about mermaiding. I feel like when I'm in my mermaid tail, I'm a mermaid. I feel that way, and that's what I'm doing, and I'm doing it because it makes me happy. So, as long as I'm not hurting anybody, then, you know? That's just me. LARP, thank you. Thank you, live action roleplay. Thank you. I couldn't remember what it was called. Live action roleplay. But she's amazing. She can even sew. Like, she makes her own outfits and everything. And people, like, companies will send her stuff to review, and it's just so interesting. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not really, like, good with acting and stuff. That's kind of why I don't have a persona. That's why I'm just myself. So, because I don't know, I have, like, a bit of a disconnect. I used to like online, like, typing role-playing games and stuff like that when I was a teen, like Harry Potter and, you know, that kind of stuff. It's really fun. Lord of the Rings, and boy, should I just wear my nerd shirt. But yeah, it's about being your most authentic self. Yes, thank you, Widget. That's what it's totally about. It's just about finding, like, your best experience. And you know what? And I don't want to make it sound like you guys have to go out and do this. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, real life sucks. Okay? As I'm discovering, running out of my savings, it's kind of, now we're getting down to the real, am I going to actually be able to do this full time and continuing on, or am I actually going to run out of money and have to get another job? So that's where I'm at. That's going to be another update video altogether. But woohoo! But the thing is, if you can take little moments of your day that are just for you, or if you can take a little bit of time here and there to do something that just gives you that spark, that little bit of joy. So for those of you watching, we're obviously all kind of centered around mermaiding, I'm assuming, since, you know, this is a mermaid channel, you know, whatever. But it just, eat fish, chicken? What? Are we posting inappropriate stuff? I don't know. What's up, my dudes? Okay, there we go. Cool. Yeah, so yeah, but that's what it's about. And, you know, and starting small if you have to, you know, because I had to start small. I didn't just dive right into this. I saved and saved and saved and saved and worked at jobs that weren't always the best fit for me, and went through a whole process. Like, I've been on YouTube since 2011, but I've only this last, like, 2 years have been able to start building some momentum, you know what I mean? Boy, could you imagine where I'd be at if I just stuck in 2011. Oh, I don't want to think about it. We need to stop being embarrassed or apologizing for being creative minds. I feel like that too. I do agree with that wholeheartedly. I have to wait for a while before I can sign up, but now I know I have the possibility I think I missed something. Sorry, it's really hard for me to keep up with the chat. It goes pretty fast, so as it goes, I'm just trying to, like, get what I can as I go here. Creativity and imagination is what allowed the human race to not only survive but thrive. Totally, right? If we just stifle all this creativity, like, nothing would ever be accomplished, you know? Mermaiding for me is an expression of the lifelong love I've had for the sea, for swimming underwater, and for connecting with the element that gave us life, for sure. I can relate to that. That's a really good one, yeah. You can be your most authentic self with mermaiding, but not be 100% mermaid. Just like you said, be what you are and all the parts of you. Yeah, totally. Keep young by being MERS and fantasize, for sure. I sent you the designs on Instagram of the characters. I hope you like them, and you can show them. I tried to make her human form fishy. That's cute. I meant simulation hypothesis. I missed something. I missed something. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Am I late? No, you're not late. I think, well, how long have we been at? Oh, wow, it is already 11:43. That's going fast. That's crazy. I definitely... A way to stay young. I'm 63. I've scuba dived, kayaked, and explored mosquito-infested salt marshes. Now I'm mermaiding. Yes. Currently, I have long creativity for my game. Oh no! I'm sending you creative vibes. Creative vibes. But yeah, sometimes it's more fun to just like not take life as seriously. Sometimes, like, yes, you need to take life seriously. Okay, yes. You need to make sure you're taking care of business, you're doing all the things, but sometimes it's okay to just be, you know, I don't know, that just sounds so cheesy. The cheese, you guys. Oh my god, the cheese. Sip your shake and shush for a second. Oh, this is so good today. Oh, yeah, the cinnamon, I tell you, cinnamon makes such a nice little difference. Really good. Are we still, everything's good? Stream health? We're good? Okay. Will you be making Shop Vancouver Mermaid swim tops? Please. I have swim tops. There's tons of swim tops in there already. I have, yeah, I've got lots of swim tops available. I think, do you mean like my logo? Because I don't know if I'm going to make that one available for sale. I did just come out. I have posted, there were a couple of pictures I posted. I have more than I need to post. Obviously, I haven't gotten around to editing any of that footage for my last swim. I've just been super, super swamped. Let me see if I can find, oh, I'm not really, like, you can't, like, super see it in that one, but I am actually wearing my new, and it has my logo on the front, which is pretty cool, so I like that one. Sending creative vibes! Yeah! I feel like my life only really started in my 40s. I'm hoping I'm still as adventurous as you when I get to my 60s. You know what? Like, who was I was talking to Eric, I think it was, about this. Eric's brother, who's a very wise guy. A little younger than me. But we were sitting down at dinner, like the family, and we were all kind of talking. We were just kind of talking about the differences between different cultures around the world and how people view getting older. And how, like, our culture just seems to have this idea that getting older is this horribly negative, awful thing. And I am so guilty of this. Every day I look at myself in the mirror and I think, okay, you are one step closer. I'm going to be on the 14th. I'm going to be 32. And I'm like, you're almost there, Courtney. You're going to be 32. And now, 32 is not my scary age. My scary age is like 36 or 38. That's like, I don't know why. I'm just like, I'm scared. I don't know. But here's the thing. I look at myself and I'll say to myself, like, look at all of these other people who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, who have all of this success and all of this following, who are like a fraction of your age. It's so frustrating. And even now I sit here and I'm like, oh, But the thing is if I was to sit down here with you guys right now, and I was to sit down next to 22-year-old Courtney, I would look at her, and she doesn't, like, 22-year-old Courtney did not have it figured out. 22-year-old Courtney was really struggling, okay, with relationships, with work, with school, with life, with family. Like, she didn't know who she was. She couldn't figure out what she wanted to do. You know, she had terrible eating habits, terrible health habits. I was just a big ball of anxiety and garbage. Like, I was such a mess in my 20s. Like, I look at myself now, and if I had the choice to be 22 again, if it meant being 22 and being that girl again, I wouldn't do it. I would be like, no, I'm fine being 32. If these were my options, I would pick this one 100% of the time, because I was a gong show. I needed to go through all of that, though, to get to this point. To get to the point where, like, okay, I know what I want to do. I know what I want to do. I have an idea of how I'm going to do it. I've got friends and family now who support me versus fake friends and fake family who just didn't care. You know, I'm doing something that I feel like I'm good at, that I enjoy, versus something that I was, you know, good enough at that I didn't really enjoy. You know what I mean? So it's all about perspective, but what Eric's brother was saying was just like, we don't have the same value. We don't look at it. We just say, oh, well, you're wrinkly, or oh, you're just older. Now you're a waste of space. You don't have a value. Whereas other cultures will look at their sort of their generations, their older generations, and they'll say to themselves, you know what, you have value, you have knowledge, you've got wisdom, you've got experience to share. And I think that's why, like, we get older, like, we start to fall apart. But other cultures don't seem to have that same kind of issue. Now, of course, there's going to be other factors depending on where you live on the planet. You're going to have different dietary, you know, and genetics, and all that's going to take a part. But I do feel like a lot of it comes with how you feel about yourself and how your outlook on life, whether you have a positive half glass full or half glass empty kind of a look. My grandmother, who's 87, has a friend who's 91 or 92 now, who, she doesn't have to work, but she still has a job, a part-time job by choice. She works bagging groceries, like she's a cashier. I think is she in Florida? I'm not sure where she lives now. But they grew up together, like they've known each other for a really long time. And she's still, like, looking at, if you were to look at her friend looks like she's in her 60s. It's a shock, okay? But her friend has this really positive, like, I'm doing it, here we go. And it's that kind of outlook just amazes me. Like, she doesn't see herself as old. She sees herself as somebody with experience, as somebody with something to share. I know I'm totally ignoring the comments for a second, but I just wanted to say that, like, it's not about staying young forever, you know, and I could get, like, super heavy with, like, there were a couple of YouTubers last year, one in particular who passed away, who I valued and who I was really inspired by, and she died at, I think, 21, I think she was, and from cystic fibrosis, and, well, actually not, well, yes, but she had a stroke and she passed away, so it was very sad, and but I look at that, and I look and I feel a little guilty sometimes that I look at myself and I think, well, you're old and you're not really contributing, or you're not doing this, that, or the other, and she's never going to get that opportunity, and that, like, and then that just kind of snaps me right back to reality, like, you know what, I've done a lot. I had a career path that I left, so I can't really judge myself, and you guys can't either. If you've been doing one thing for a certain amount of time and you just decided this isn't bringing me joy, I'm going to KonMari this crap and just cut it out. Right? I had to. It's all over YouTube right now. Everybody's KonMari this, and we're doing the method. You know what I mean? I fold all my stuff her way. Anyways, it's totally aside. But the thing is, like, you can't give yourself a hard time if you're starting literally, like, I am starting from not quite square one, but pretty close to square one to try and build things up and go along. So every time I have one of those thoughts where I wake up and I'm like, oh, wrinkles, or I'm looking this, or I'm looking that, or whatever, I have to put it in perspective and remember that I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now if I hadn't have had 10 years of messing everything up and learning and experimenting and doing all of these things. What's Pokemon Go telling me? I'm not even moving. My Pokemon buddy found a candy. I love the network that I'm on. I think it just keeps me like cycled in an area, and I'm just getting candy just sitting here for Pokemon Go. Like, that's crazy to me. But what I want you guys to just remember is that if you have those thoughts, and I'm assuming you do, because I think we all do. I just know it's such a human thing that I just feel so inadequate sometimes. Just to remember to just kind of put it, you know, in perspective of all the other little raindrops. You know what I mean? That in the grand scheme of things, at the end of the day, is that one thing that really put you out for that day. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. There was something that happened, and it seemed like the be all and the end all of everything for me at that exact moment. But 5 years from now, am I going to look back and say that one thing that really messed me up, is that really going to affect me 5 years from now? You know, like, I don't know. It kind of helps you put things into perspective, but, you know. One time in Japan, I went to an open-air museum and met a bunch of long-retired people working to help maintain old buildings and talk to visitors. They were so happy. Like, that's beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, that just brings a smile to my face. You know what I mean? Age is just a number. After all, it's your heart that matters, for sure. But I feel like our society and our culture, like, I was at a spa convention yesterday and with my mom, and while there are some people there who focus on a more holistic aspect of beauty and like healthcare and this kind of stuff, there are people there who are there purely for, well, the aesthetic side of it, which is absolutely a thing. And if you're into makeup and you're into whatever, like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's your vibe, and totes power to you. I got a new eyebrow pencil and I'm feeling quite good about that. You know what I mean? Like, and a new gel for my brows. I was very happy about that. There's going to be like a haul video. It's going to be really good. But needless to say, massive success. I'm very happy. But remembering, like, bringing it back and sometimes having a little bit more value for the things that you can't necessarily see on your face. You know what I mean? Like, the things that you've learned inside. Like, 22-year-old me was, like, going to the doctor and being like, look, I can't function as a human being. I have such anxiety, I can't even leave the house. I am such a mess. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm not able to do these things. What should I do? Like, go on medication. Like, we were, you know, talking about all these different options for what I could do to just be okay. Like, I have a whole array of things now that I've learned over those 10 years to get to 30 that okay, now I've got systems in place. Now I know. But you can't just skip to the end, you know? So, oh man, that was well said. Not about staying young forever, but about embracing where you are and what you have. Absolutely. Never complain about getting old. It's a privilege denied to many. Absolutely. And that's what I try to focus on. Like, I never want you guys to feel bad for feeling bad about where you're at, because that's a very human experience. It is 100% okay to have a moment where you're like, oh my God, like, what am I even doing? But it's what you do after that moment passes. How do you pick yourself up again and continue on this great journey of life, right? Like, that's, I think, what this last, I just spat. I hope you guys, like, spit at the camera, Courtney, good. What would it be if I didn't have one of those moments at least one time in a tail talk? Like, I know we've got like 5 minutes to go here, but I don't really want to just rush this. I kind of want to just tie this with a nice little bow here and just sort of say, like, it's okay to have those moments of doubt, or to have those moments of, yeah, of where you don't feel 100%, because if somebody ever said to you, then you're just reliving it. If somebody was ever like, oh, well, you can't feel, just be positive, just be happy. I freaking hate it when somebody comes to me and I'm having a genuine moment and they're like, oh no, just be happy. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're gonna negate how I feel and just put that stamp on there? No. You know what you're gonna do? You're gonna have a moment. You're gonna sit down with yourself and you're gonna write down, okay, look, I feel like crap. What's going on? What is the actual source of this? And then that's where you have the decision to make. You can either choose to live in your misery and live in the situation that you have, or you have the other choice. You can go and you can say, okay, now what could I actively do in small amounts? Because you know what? Sometimes when you are in a funk, all you can do is just the littlest thing. So what's the littlest thing I could do to get myself onto some kind of a track. Now we're getting in a whole mental health thing. I would love to do a video talking about this. But what is the one small thing? Should I break into song? Any My Little Pony fans out there? No. Anyways, but what is that one small thing that I could do to get myself back on track and not to feel bad about it? Because it's just not fair to be like, oh, well, you have to feel this way or you have to feel that way. Just, everybody just do you. You do you. That's just going to be the title for this video. You do you. Points for discussing anxiety and other issues. It helps others understand they are not alone and how they can grow. Absolutely. I would love to do a whole, like a video and talk about it. Also talk about how mermaiding has actually directly impacted my ability to function as a human being. Because there has been times in my life where it's just not a thing. It's just not, oh, can I turn the volume up? Is it on here? Okay, we're gonna get ALFIE louder. Yeah, Digimer donated $10 through Super Chat. Thank you so much, Digimer. Support for awesome life outlook sesh. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the Super Chat. It really, really helps out my channel. And Digimer, you know I love you. But that's the thing, right? That's kind of what I wanted the So Mermaid brand to be. It's not about being the best mermaid. It's not about being the most, mermaid. It's about finding your inner mermaid. It's about finding that spark for yourself, And I love you guys so much, and I would love to share more of that with you. If it's something that you would like me to discuss or talk about more, mental health stuff on YouTube can be a bit dodgy. You can get demonetized if you're not careful with how you word it and things like that. But regardless, I think even if I get demonetized, I think it would be worth it just to talk about it with you guys. And insert Patreon plug here. You're the best, Digimer. You're so cute. What Digimer is referencing is the Patreon pod. Now, I actually had something exciting to announce, so congrats to you if you made it all the way to the end of the video. I am going to announce something very teeny. I'm hoping to record it today. I am starting a podcast for my Patreon pod, okay? So this is something I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's going to come out in April. I'm not sure if it's going to be this week or if it's going to be the following week, but I am going to be starting a wee podcast talking about behind the scenes mermaid / entrepreneur kind of issues, starting your own business and how to be a professional mermaid and this kind of thing. And I will be, of course, asking my $5 tier patrons for their kind of vote on that, because that was something that I wanted to update with this month. So if you're interested in checking out any of this, we have a monthly mermaid tail coloring challenge, a behind the scenes feed where I post behind the scenes goodies that I don't post anywhere else. We've got the private Discord community chat and a monthly private live stream, and starting hopefully either, I don't think this week, maybe next week, is going to be our podcast that I'm going to be doing just for the patrons and just like answering questions and this kind of good stuff. So excited that I'm finally going to take the plunge. It's going to happen. But yeah, so that's my little thing. So that's over at patreonpod.com. Links and everything are, of course, in the description box down below. We would love to have you join us. And no way, a podcast? Yes, I know, podcast. I was going to just call it, podcast. I was going to call it the Patreon podcast, but then I was like, podcast. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to call it yet, but it's going to be for everybody. So $1 tier and up, everyone's going to have access to it. And it's going to be something really unique that I'm going to do just as just like an additional layer of sharing information. So that's going to be over on patreonpod.com. So with that, all that being said, if you guys liked today's video, please feel free to give it a big thumbs up. If you would like for me to do kind of a video discussing, I don't know, mermaids and mental health, maybe we could call it something like that. I don't know, maybe we could make it a series, like a Mental Health Monday or something. I don't know, whatever. Let me know in the comment section. Just leave me a little comment saying, hey, that's a great idea. Maybe topics you would like me to discuss, stuff like that. Let's get the convo going. I love puns. I know I love puns too, especially there's some mermaid good ones. That's why it was patreonpod.com was just like my favorite Patreon pod, because you're my pod, right? Like you're my YouTube pod too, but you're kind of like my little fishes on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. We're getting way off topic here. But I want to thank you guys so much for coming out today. If you haven't subscribed to join the pod, please do so. And don't forget to hit that bell notification as well so you never miss an upload, even though sometimes YouTube is a poopy diaper and sometimes you still miss the notifications, which is good. Thank you, YouTube, for that. I wish there was a big thumbs up button instead of a regular like button. Yeah, I know. I wish they had like a big stamp. It would be pretty funny. Why can't I spam the thumbs up? I know, I wish you could, right? Oh, you're very welcome, you guys. Thank you, Joseph, for coming out. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. You guys are just the reason that I can do what I do, and I love you all so much. And this has been a great live stream. I felt like this one was really on point, right? I felt like, yes, we are getting to the nuts and bolts of it all. But on that note, I do have to go. I've got mermaid tails to make and vlogs and things to edit. It's very exciting. But I do believe I am going to live stream tomorrow, a little art vid. Who knows what I'll be up to? Let's help our mental health. Yes, totally. Okay. That being said, I'm outie. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, my little fishes, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video. Happy swimming. Bye, guys. And Alfie is just totally zonked. Hey, bye. What you doing? Swimming. Whoa. He's like, no, I'm sleeping, guys. Okay, bye, my fishes.